Thinking of buying your first home in Denver? Well, buckle up because this could be a wild ride. Between the sky-high prices, bidding wars, competition, and confusing loan options, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but don't worry, I got you covered. We're going to go over everything in this video. We're going to break down exactly what you need to know before buying that first home, including selecting the right area and programs you might not know about that could end up saving you thousands of dollars. And trust me, most buyers don't hear about these programs until it's too late. So make sure you watch to the end and we will get you set up for success as you buy your first home in Denver. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Kampmann, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we talk about all things Denver real estate, highlighting the best neighborhoods and helping people on their relocation in and around the Denver metro area. So if you are thinking of a move here, let's schedule a time to chat. Call, text, or email the information on the screen. Email is usually the quickest way to get a hold of me, and feel free to download the relocation guide linked in the video description below. So mistake number one I see first-time homebuyers make is waiting too long to get their preliminary work done. A lot of people think that they can just go out, tour some homes, see what's out there before they actually do their pre-approval process or meet with a lender or a realtor, and that can be a big mistake on your home search. And I get it, you really want to go out and see what's out there to see if there's anything that's going to be a fit for you before you go through the pre-approval process. But too many times I've seen buyers come into an open house, fall in love with it. It's the perfect home. They weren't planning on moving, but this home just feels like the perfect fit for them, but they haven't spoken to a lender and somebody else comes along and snatches up the house before they get the opportunity to make an offer. So a seller in Colorado really is not going to listen to any type of offer unless you have a proof of funds to show you can purchase the house or a pre-approval from a reputable lender. So don't worry about effects to your credit score. It's only going to hit it 1 to 2 points to go through the full pre-approval process, and to get a pre-qual where they do a soft pull of your credit, it really won't affect it whatsoever. So get pre-approved, be ready to strike when the right home presents itself. So let's talk about what to expect in the Denver housing market. The real estate market in Denver is still quite hot, and it is neighborhood specific. So some homes in great neighborhoods that are in great condition are going to get snatched up right away. There are others in other subdivisions around the Denver metro area that tend to sit for 30 or 60 days. So knowing specifically where you're searching for a home can end up saving you thousands of dollars. Another mistake I see first-time home buyers make is picking a very competitive neighborhood. They get beat out 2 or 3 times on houses that they absolutely love. They decide to pivot, choose a different neighborhood, and they go in with the same strategy and end up overbidding on a house where they really didn't have to. So getting with a pro who really knows the ins and outs of each neighborhood and how each neighborhood is different and the competitive nature to win is really vital to your success as a first-time home buyer. Now, the median home price for a home in Denver right now is right around $600,000. I know that can be a little steep, especially when you're thinking of buying your first home. If you are looking for cheaper options, we do have condos and townhomes available. Those are going to range from $300,000 to $400,000 depending on the size and location. The thing to watch out for on some of these condos and townhome communities, though, is HOA fees. Sometimes those can be a budget buster, and it's better off searching for a home maybe in a non-HOA neighborhood where you can save $300 to $500 per month. Now we're going to get into the programs that could end up saving you thousands. Everything from loan assistance, down payment assistance, to flat out free money when you buy your home. I know everyone loves that word free, especially when it comes to one of your biggest purchases. Now, the first program we're going to talk about is CHFA, Colorado Housing Finance Authority. Now, this is a program that specifically helps first-time homebuyers. Some of the perks of this program are not only help with down payment assistance, sometimes up to 2 to 3% of the total loan value, but they can also help with closing costs up to 4%. This loan program also works with FHA and VA loans, which are very popular for first-time home buyers, and it's a favorite of people getting into their first home because of the lower down payment requirement, and they can work with credit scores that are less than perfect. Some cons to this program are it does have income limits, and it is limited to first-time home buyers. So if this is your second home or you're buying an investment property, it's off the table for you. You also must take a home buyer education course to be qualified for this. It's a fairly short and easy course to get through, but they do want to educate the buyers on the program and all of the ins and outs of it. Now, the biggest downside of this program is it's not technically free money. It's loaned up front. It sits as a silent second mortgage on the property. So let's say you're purchasing your first home at $300,000 and you got a $10,000 grant for down payment assistance. This grant is actually going to be a loan that's tacked on to the end of the mortgage. You're not going to have to do any payments on it while you're making your traditional mortgage payments, but it does come due once the loan is going to be paid off in full or you sell the home. So traditionally what happens is someone uses this program to get into a home, live there for 5 to 7 years, and then they end up selling that home to upgrade to another one, and the loan ends up getting repaid through the proceeds of the sale of the house. And again, this one does have income limits, so make sure you're talking with a realtor and lender before you make this purchase and before you get too far into it. The next program we'll talk about is called Metro DPA, and this is actually one of my favorite for first-time home buyers because it does include free money. Now, this down payment assistance program can offer up to 5% for closing costs and down payment assistance, and it is in the form of a grant if you stay in the home for longer than 3 years. So if you use these funds to purchase your home with the down payment assistance and you live in the home for longer than 3 years, the loan is basically completely forgiven. In essence, free money. Now, if you sell the home before this time, yes, a prorated portion of it will need to be paid back through the proceeds of the sale. Now, cons to this program is it does require a little bit higher of a credit score than the CHFA program. It also will have income limits. Not every lender can offer this program, and occasionally the funds for this program do dry up. So you do have to get in at the right time when the funding is there for the assistance. And the next program we're going to talk about is the Home Loan Advantage program. Now, this works in conjunction with FHA and VA loans, and mainly what it's there for is to help lower interest rates for first-time home buyers. This is not a program that offers down payment assistance, but it can be a valuable asset to people who are very interest rate sensitive or maybe right on the cusp of what they're able to afford. Now, this program can be used in conjunction with the other ones I talked about, CHFA and Metro DPA on your FHA loan, but it also has limited funds. So you got to get in at the right time and got to work with a lender who's approved to use the program. Now, I mentioned VA and FHA loans, and if you're not familiar with those terms, those are two loan programs that are either government insured or government guaranteed. The FHA program is primarily used by a lot of first-time home buyers and allows people to get into a home without having to have the traditional 5, 10, or 20% down payment to qualify for the loan. You can get in with an FHA loan on a 3.5% down payment. And sometimes you can get most of that down payment covered by either Metro DPA or CHFA. So I have seen people be able to purchase a home with only $2,000 to $3,000 out of pocket. It's pretty rare, but it does happen. Now, the VA program is also for our veterans and enables them to purchase a home with zero money down. So a great benefit for those who have served in the military, and this loan can actually be used multiple times. It's not just for your first home purchase. I've actually seen people purchase a home, live in there for 3 to 5 years, and then turn it into a rental and use their VA benefits again as they buy their second home, which will now be their primary residence. Now, some cons to these programs is VA obviously is limited to our veterans and people in the military. It does also have some stricter guidelines as far as the appraisal process for the home that you purchased, and they can have some other fees wrapped up in the beginning, funding fees, etc., which can sometimes make the closing costs a little bit higher than a traditional loan. FHA downsides are they do carry mortgage insurance, and for mortgage insurance, this is premiums that you pay to insure the bank that they do not lose their investment. It really doesn't benefit you as a home buyer, so I do see a lot of people eventually refinance out of these programs so that they can drop off that mortgage insurance payment, because it can be about $75,000 per $100,000 borrowed. So if you're looking at a $300,000 to $400,000 home in the Denver metro area, that can add anywhere from $150 to $250 to your monthly mortgage payment. Okay, so now you've met with a lender, you got your pre-approval process done, and you've enrolled in one of the down payment assistance programs. How are you going to win in this competitive market? First of all, meeting with a realtor who can identify the different areas to find true value in can be a huge game changer and really set you up for success. There's some neighborhoods that I would definitely avoid as a first-time home buyer if you're payment sensitive and you don't have a lot of cash to compete. Areas like Wash Park or Cherry Creek or even the Berkeley neighborhood can be some of the most competitive that we see in the Denver metro area. Moving a little bit further out from that, if you head to neighborhoods in Denver like Sunnyside and Baker, you can find a little bit less competition and a little bit more value. But the true value is actually just outside of the city limits of Denver. So check out places like Arvada, where it's kind of trendy, quirky, and a little bit less competitive. Westminster has great home prices, has very much a suburban feel, but you're very close to the mountains, and you can find some great value up there, as well as Lakewood. Lakewood is part of kind of the interior Denver metro area, so you're gonna have a very similar vibe to Denver, while still being just a little bit to the west and finding a little bit better home prices for first-time home buyers. And some interesting creative things you can do to get your offer accepted when you might not have the funds to compete with somebody who is able to go higher and bid up a home. Are being flexible on your closing date. This is very important for sellers, especially if they have a family that they need to move, whether that be in town or out of town. Being flexible with your closing date, maybe offering a few days after closing to give the seller some time to move out of the home, and having all your ducks in a row as far as your pre-approval and your funds ready to go for closing. What a seller really wants in this market is not technically always the highest offer. They want the most likelihood that the home is actually going to sell and they're going to get on with their life. Nothing worse than getting 3 weeks into an escrow process only to figure out that the buyer wasn't serious about the home or didn't have the funds to close. They'd rather choose the most solid offer from the start so they don't have to waste time and go back on the market and deal with showings and all the things that go on with selling a home. So your final pro tips when getting started for searching for a home. Don't always start with like Zillow or realtor.com. You can get connected to a local agent through these services, but you just don't know who you're going to get. If you find this video helpful and you are thinking of a move here, you can hit me up and I'll answer any questions that you may have, and we can go over different areas and different pros and cons of each. Number 2, make sure you get with a trusted lender. I have tons of resources in my team that help people get the best rates possible as well as the best service possible. They'll always give it to you straight and they won't make any promises that they can't fulfill. And number 3, don't be in a huge rush. I know sometimes it can feel overwhelming, like homes are getting snatched up really fast, but that's just because some of those neighborhoods are ultra competitive. There are a lot of opportunities out there if you just know where to look. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, leave a comment and give it a like and a share with somebody that you know is making a move to the Denver metro area that could use this information. And when you're thinking of a move, make sure you hit me up, call, text, or email, and don't forget to download that free relocation guide with additional information. Until next time.